This is Spanish 1, Family and Community Exam Prep 25 through 28. Okay, I'm going to read each of these sentences in English and then Spanish and then clap. And after I clap, I'd like you to repeat the sentence with me in Spanish, okay? 25. Ask your friend, what are your grandparents like? ¿Cómo son tus abuelos? ¿Cómo son tus abuelos? Number 26. My grandparents are rich and nice. Mis abuelos son ricos y simpáticos. Mis abuelos son ricos y simpáticos. Number 27. Ask a friend, do you have an uncle? ¿Tienes tú un tío? ¿Tienes tú un tío? And finally, 28. Yes, I have one uncle. Sí, yo tengo un tío. Sí, yo tengo un tío. Now again, in English we say, what are your grandparents like? But notice, in Spanish, it's como son tus abuelos. Mr. Holt, isn't the word for what K? Yep, but there's no K. You're right. Isn't the word for like gustar? Yep, but there's no word for gustar. Literally, in Spanish, if you want to ask, what are your grandparents like, you ask, como son tus abuelos? Mr. Holt, isn't that asking how are my grandparents feeling? No, this is important. Remember this chant. Location and feeling are always a star, but everything else is ser. If I were to say to you, como están tus abuelos, I would be asking, how are your grandparents feeling? But if I say, como son tus abuelos, I'm asking, what are they like? Are they tall, short, fat, thin, rich, poor? Okay? So anytime you hear in English, what is somebody like? In Spanish, it's como son tus. Como son tus. Like, what are your friends like? Como son tus amigos? What are your relatives like? Como son tus parientes? All right. Mr. Holt, if I'm asking one friend, what are your grandparents like? Why isn't yours singular? Well, you always look at the word that follows. Since abuelos ends in an S, the word for your is tus. So if you're asking about what is your house like, you'd say tu casa. But if you say what are your houses like, it's como son tus casas. Now, my grandparents are rich and nice. Everybody say simpático. Simpático. Simpático is nice or charming. So visualize there's this nice friendly dog and I walk up and I pat it on the head. And my friend asks, do you always pat nice dogs on the head? And I say, yes, sí. I always pat every nice dog that I see on the head. Yes, I always pat every nice dog that I see on the head. Kind of lame, but that's how I remembered it. Simpático is nice. Nice is simpático. Simpático is nice. Nice is simpático. Now, in English we say, do you have an uncle? In Spanish we say, have you an uncle? Where's the word for do? This upside down question mark translates do or does. So in English we say, do you eat tacos? In Spanish we say, eat you tacos. In English we say, do they travel? In Spanish we say, travel they. Now, tío means uncle. And tia means aunt. You guys might have heard of the city Tijuana. Everybody say Tia Juana. Tia means aunt, and Juana means Juana. So a guy was asked, what do you want to name this new city? And he said, I want to name it Tia Juana. I want to name the city Aunt Juana after my Aunt Juana. Now, notice, have you is a question. I have is an answer. Now, Mr. Holt, I don't understand. What's the word for an? Un. What's the word for a? Un. And what's the word for one? Un. In Spanish, the word un or uno means a, an, or one. It's very hard for Spanish speakers to get this in English because what's the Spanish word for a? Uno. An. Uno. One. Uno. But in English, they have to learn when to use a, when to use an, and when to use one. All right. And notice, uno shortens when it's followed by one male thing. Remember, uno, bueno, malo go in front of nouns, those three adjectives, and they shorten when they're followed by one male thing. This has been Spanish 1, Family and Community Exam Prep 25 through 28.